Good evening and welcome, Free Enterprise fans, to Moonveil Mixer Midnight. My name is Dathis, and I'm joined here in the booth by Guerin. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Jathis. And how are you this evening?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. As I said, we have a lovely midnight race here going on with Softnum and Amarith. Fantastic runners with a fantastic start. We have the one, the only, the legendary mage and sage of Tella here is our fantastic start, as rolled by our wonderful restreamer doing all the work in the background, Oscar424. And we also have Scarsfer here on tracking. So we have ourselves a lovely full booth here for a wonderful midnight race.
Yep, and right now we have, let's see, Softnum is part of the Golbez law firm, and Amarith is part of the Mysidian Comedy Club. And I think this is their first race of the week.
Yeah, it is. I am excited to see how these guys go about and do their runs. With it being Moonveil Mixer, and we have now changed over, we no longer have the ability to just do trap chests and find some key items. That's gone. We now actually have to go and find our way to get the 6 objectives of the 7 you see on the screen to fight Zeromus. He's back on the table. I do miss the idea of the execution of E no EXP. Instead, we have E can't run on it instead. So a little bit of differences here and there, nuances in the seeds, but overall, interesting change from the potion party here to the Moonveil Mixer, as well as the main required objectives. Have Kukul forge the Legend Sword of the Adamant. That's always going to be there one way or the other, because it's one of the fan favorites. But instead of specific key item hunts, we now have boss hunts. The Fabul Gauntlet, which is the alt gauntlet here in this flag set, as well as Golbez, who is not in fact involved in Golbez, and Golbez. And if you would like to file a complaint with that, you will have to speak with Golbez, and Golbez, and not Golbez himself. But I'm going to let this seed start off. We have ourselves Tella going. We have Rosa paired. We have a Sparkle's going to be giving us a key item, and I called this. I hate it. So I'm getting real vibes of a very, very old tournament. I'm calling a reroll on this. This is what I do not want to see. This is what a lot of runners probably don't want to see. This is because we do still have the ability to go and D-money grind, which everybody. There's a lot of people of the schools of thought of like, do you want to do it or not? In flag set like this, you find your 5 characters, you D-machine grind, and then you can take care of pretty much anything. But it does all depend on where these key items are as well. D-machine grinding can be very powerful, but it can also be very much blocking. Speaking of blocking, that's an edge being blocked by some guards.
Yep, so that looks like one of our 5 characters. I would imagine both would probably take Edge.
Oh, absolutely. Edge can actually be your supplement to not doing your D-money grind. Again, it depends on where key items are, how quickly they flow in, and when it becomes beneficial. Because there is actually a plus or minus to D-machine grinding versus egg grinding in some aspects. Again, it's a whole bunch of a flowchart of, are you slingshotting a character? Do you have double XP? How fast can you kill eggs? It is a little more convoluted than see D-money, do D-money. You're still looking for your big characters here. Both runners doing the looting in Baron, and then we are getting checks in in the city here. No, folks, that is not double screened. That is in fact 2 runners' seeds, and they're both doing the exact same things. They want to know who's on the moon. Is that a is that a Cecil or is that a Foo?
I'm gonna go with Edward, just because demigods could feel a little better, maybe.
Oh, as long as we get a spoon sometime in the nearby, I agree as well. But yeah, Eat Can't Run. There is the fear that this was added in so that we can try and deter people away from the D-money manip, because there has been, like, this has been done in the vanilla speedrun. Like, there's a manipulation chart for it there specifically. But we, as people from Free Enterprise, this was showcased in a tournament, several, like 3 years ago, where E Can't Run was debuted. And a couple of people in the community have done a manipulation where if you get an encounter on X steps and then an encounter on Y steps, well, that means that you have so many places, or here, 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 or here, and then you'll find the D Machine grind within 1 or 2 fights. So it is really interesting, and it does add an extra layer, but it's still one of those you look at and you go, not what you want to see.
Speaking of seeing, we're going to find out who our characters in the Lure Dais right now. And
the Moon Dragoon himself, that is a Kane. With that starting dwarf kit, that's actually a very good character to have. It means that we can have all of our characters kind of chilling in the back row right now. Dwarf Axe giving Kane access to the back row glitch, where he can hit from the back. And yeah, but Amarith she's making good use out of all the other items in there. You get 10 rune rings. You can sell about 4 or 5, really. 5 or 6 fairly readily, depending on what your team's going to be. So that's a good infusion of cash to fund some of your early items. Like if you say we find some sirens here on the Moon Shop, or if we find something that we really are going to want, some silk webs, for example, I would be buying a couple of those.
Both skipping it.
Could be thinking of using a siren and stealing them and keeping that money for later. Again, right now, those silk webs are nice to know about. You could buy about 3 and get away with it for the remainder of the seed, because there's only 3 spots you really want to have them for, one being Zeromus proper. But yeah, not bad. Overall, a very panicky start again. Like you're given medium power, you're given very panic of Darkness Crystal, and yeah, also mentioned by our restreamer, vampires were not purchased. They can be very, very good for this early game.
Especially since the healing isn't going to come online quite immediately, so it's good heal in the meantime.
Yeah, and they do about 500 damage, so unless you find a white spear for this Kane, which we're probably not unless we do some trap chests, which that we're not going to do just yet, that poison axe going to be some of the best equipment he's going to have for a while, so you're not unhappy with it. He can handle the giant chest, so the trap chest isn't going to be any bit of a problem.
And nice curse string on Amarith's side there in the Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, you're not going to say no to a freebie curse ring that whatsoever. You're very happy with that. What I was more is the fact that we have Star Veils and Ethers for sale here in Mysidia. Mysidia having some really good items.
Yeah, peek at the boss and cave value. Either ruby or elements, looks like.
Yeah, not worth face checking at this current moment. Again, knowledge is power, but with the items that you found from there, you don't want to re-loot, so I wouldn't face check either. And with this tele here, I do agree with Softnum doing the watery pass looting. Overall, with the treasure looted maxed at T5, which is a very far cry from the T6 what we had in the previous potion party, looting is not as high of a priority as it used to be. Like, even for a loot goblin as myself, you're not finding all this really, really good items. But then you do spike something like Asura and Runeaxe, for example. Runeaxe, very, very nice to find for some of our mage-based enemies.
Yep, and Kane can wield that right away, so yeah, that'll be nice for jumping.
And with the access to exit that we have from Softnum, I'm surprised the looting didn't go any further. That's very interesting. Yeah, and as is mentioned, it's in Potion Party, it was all money, so that's why it was uncapped, and you were getting all your items from the shops, so you needed to find a way to fund them somehow, so it does make sense. Also, Softnum showing off one of the other features that we have here in Free Enterprise. If you hit the select button while you're in your inventory, it does show you what every piece of gear does, who can wear it, and other benefits that it can have. Again, a great little quality of life, whereas if you just can't remember what a specific item does.
And apparently the Dameson treasure did not get the memo that we are off of the Ocean Party flags. Most of those chests for money.
Look, you get money, you gotta get money somehow, whether you sell the items or not. Softnum taking a reset just before we can see what that Mylon flavor was. So we have a flavor of Mylon in the waterfall, not one we're going to want to take anyway, but both runners are in fact taking and raising up this hovercraft at the same time. A lot of side-by-side looting, which this is kind of a very typical opening gambit for everybody.
And now it looks like we're going to get checked for the character on Mount Hobbs from Amarith.
Absolutely. And again, you're really looking for the characters that you're going to get for the majority of your seed. There is very much something to be said about taking 5 characters, going, grinding till about mid-30s, and then calling it as it is. But in the same token, it's right now, we could have a character that's going to be more beneficial than what, say, this Kane would be. Again, I love Kane, don't get me wrong. But if we have Edge, Kane, Palom, Rydia, and Porum, I'm probably going to take the mages and do some reflect strats later and have Edge be my only melee. Well, Edge and Rosa be my 2 physical damage dealers. Not really necessary to have any fighters when you have that many mages.
Yeah, 3 more mages. Again, you're probably reflecting because it's faster, and then Kane will probably just be a chemist if he's still in the party.
Again, it's back and forth, but speaking of back and forth, it's everybody's favorite bard. We have Edward here on the top with a Lunar Sparkle, so we're going to see which one's out of the pool. It is the North American Noodle, the one and only Masamune holder himself, Ogo Pogo, opening with Double Big Wave.
It's a nice place to see it because he doesn't have a whole lot of hit points here.
And Softnum doing a reset saying, I'm not going to take this bard, I will maybe come back for him later, or just hopes that we're not going to spike a spoon, because if we see a spoon, that is power disparity in Amarith's favor right then and there.
Maybe we might come back after a couple levels. We can get you some for early on pretty quick.
Yeah, ooh, Blizzard Spear and Boomerang for that edge that we all know about. I would be holding on to one of those real quick just so we can make sure that we can back him immediately.
All we do is find a bunch of Drain Spears.
And the seed just keeps on telling you, do some D-Machine grinding. That is a Soma drop, and those are life potions. No, we're not doing it. I'm really against this here. Our tracker pointing out, that is Soma drops for Kane. Absolutely agree. We are getting ourselves a key item check here. That is a sparkle of a Wyvern. Since we have Witchburn on, it's not your mega nuke, but you're still not happy with seeing a not really happy with seeing a party-wide weak here.
It really doesn't make a difference though, because I mean, the reflected nuke still got cover. Reflected nuke is still gonna kill everybody. I can talk.
Yeah, nuke is still powerful no matter where it is, so you're not really excited to see it. It could be a whole lot scarier of a spell. There are those that can be very much a pain. Also, Wyvern... Huh, that's interesting. The battle speed here is so fast for Wyvern that he actually... His wall looked like it fell off at one point. He just remedied right away.
No such luck this time around. No, tell it's a... And we have DMs over in Atline Cave.
Yeah, that's a reset there for Softnum. Yeah, a little bit more power and he'd be doing a little bit better. Again, this is the bits that's a little bit back and forth. It's your early power versus like some of the weapons you can find. Get Rosa a good bow and arrow and she's online. Gets Edward anything and he's okay. But yeah, it's It's just early power with utility knives, but you're not really getting anything to give them their utility aside from Kane just jumping in the midsection.
Okay, it looks like Softnum's going to come down here to Alien Cave as well. Let's go see these same D-Imps. And then we should hopefully get a key item check out of all this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what our first proper key item check is. Again, some of the bosses we have out of the pool, you're kind of okay with having out, and you're kind of wishing you've seen some of them later. Wyvern, you'd be very happy he's gone early. Dark Imps, well, with that hourglass we have in our inventory, you would really love to see him later. Off slot, recall for stone off slot. That's a nice recall, but unfortunately does not land. Would have been very good. But Amarith, through that fight first, she gets her twin harp. We have a bard. We have music on the table. You have to, gotta know your restreamers. You see music, you gotta do it.
Helps it's actually an objective this time around, so I mean, no reason not to.
There are people who do still look at harp being in your inventory and being an objective and say, you know what, I'll do you later because it is a long check and out of the way. I am glad that it is one of our main objectives because it is one that is near and dear. There's so many good harp songs out there, and I love knowing what we have.
If Harp Fitters Anonymous already random tonight, I think, so you don't have to worry about that, Asuka.
Yeah, we have some shunning of the harp disbelievers in chat, and I'm in agreement. We can do to them with what Amarith picked up. That is, you can mute them and tell them no. But we do have a monk having himself a little nap in Kaipo. So we have mute daggers, monk, and some lovely, delicious food. We have diet food, and we have carrots here in Kaipo as well, along with those Cure 3s. Normally that'd be a signifier that we're not going to have a healer on the overworld, but Rosa was our secondary character, so whew for that.
Looks like everyone's going to show us what's in the mist shops. It can be a interesting check because sometimes there's something really good in these shops.
Yeah, being a lonely, out-of-the-way spot, you're generally going to see some nicer stuff. If we find a Cecil and we need it, an Ice Brand is never going to be said no to. I personally am in Ice Brand versus Blizzard Spear. I prefer Blizzard versus Ice. Simple fact is that the Blizzard Spear can use to be cast a spell, so you don't have to worry about the implications of if you get physical counter but not magic counter. Kane can still do something at that point.
Other than stay at the party in the back, you mean, right?
I mean, he's already had his party in the front with Potion Party. Now he's get to be part of the mixing it up in the background. Mom Bomb is yet another boss that you're very okay with seeing out of the way. Gives any location an extra 10,000 HP. So that means Tella is not going to have to deal with that in the Transformation Chamber, which is still a place that is, I know, on the table for these runners. And you're just finding all sorts of goodies. Strength Ring, Assassin Dagger, Dragon Whip. That's, for the tier that we can roll, we're rolling really high tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we've got and let's go check the Baron Inn to see what's here and get the edge.
Yep, taking these mute daggers and just seeing what other gear we have, throwing on some of the rings we have. Again, selling to leave about 3 or 4 for your party, never a bad idea because of the amount of people that can use it. And that mage resistance is Moe Chef's Kiss for when it comes to some of the fights we have.
And it's the typo guards this time around, so the more rude set's not going to be here, and run to them later.
With this mute dagger, you're actually more inclined to want to fight the Baron guards anywhere that you possibly can, because getting that extra damage from Edward is going to be very, very good. Additionally, the main thing is you can see the sprites on the overworld. Because we saw one red and one blue, it means that we were to know that this was going to be that pairing of guards, where if it was double blue, it would have been the Baron guards. Well, we have a Thunderclaw here for sale in Agart too. That is very nice to have. A lot of enemies have the Thunder weakness or the Lightning weakness, so you're very much wanting to pick up one of those if you can spend the money and throw around for it, because it's just the amount of weaknesses that hits is just, you can't say no, especially with this edge that we know we are going to be picking up at some point.
There's also a longsword there for edge that'll help until we find something better. And some black belts.
Yeah, some black belts too. A whole bunch of goodies here in Agart. And bonus round, Demus spotted. Baron Inn, definitely the place to be. We have a ninja. We have ourselves a Demist. We have ourselves Softnum exiting out and not wanting to be blocked by NPCs. We have all been there. You tell me you haven't been there, I will say you are very lucky.
Nope, but it's the #1 cause of NPC death in this game.
If I could delete one NPC, it would be the woman with the red dress from Troya. She has blocked me on my way out more times than any other NPC in this game combined. And yes, that does include the old woman in Kaipo, who in fact has her dialogue changed. If you don't know what it is, please go read it. It is fantastic.
I haven't read the dialogue in this game in a long time. I'll have to try that.
If you've never taken the time and just checked to see what all the little nuances have changed, like just the different dialogue options that NPCs say and everything, you have to talk to every one of the NPCs. I still haven't done every one of them. I've done most of them, but it's very funny listening to or seeing what they've said. Some of them are clues that, like, for context, like, hey, this will help you with this. Some of them are where possible key item locations are. Rosa's mom has actually even been updated to tell you where every one of your key items that you can check are. But Softnum also threw his fight and about to get the lovely news of a very punchy Demist here. If you are not ready for this fight, it kind of jumps out of nowhere for you.
I could use probably a few more levels and another character to get through that. Jeez.
Another way is also putting your characters all in the back row. The doing so means that they are going to be taking way less damage than what they normally would. So this Kane would be taking half damage, and he'd still be doing full damage because he has been using the rune. He did use the Dwarf Axe first, so he does have access to the strength of doing so.
Yeah, it looks like Softnum's going to change that setup and put everybody in the back.
Yep, and keeping Kane up in the top row, one of the areas where he does get an accuracy boost, and when you are using these axes, that's what you want most of all. Just getting the most power you possibly can. But yeah, meanwhile, on Amarith's side, we have a very slow and steady fight going on here. Kane doing jumps, Tella throwing out tier 1 spells, Eddie swinging away with that mute dagger.
Yeah, it's definitely slow and steady, and 600 from Kane, it'll get you there. There's that pause in the middle, it gives you a chance to raise up your characters with drop down.
Yeah, it is always nice to have this so you can just raise up people, get some, if possible, blinks up if you want to, or if you want to just, again, keep going at it with the damage that you can pump out. Never bad choices, just, again, showing the different options that you have for the characters. Yeah, hovering over Kane's turn is probably the right way to go about this. Just wait, jump, and as soon as you see the message come back.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the life potions hold out, this will be able to get through, because it's only going to take 3 hits around, and there's 4 characters, so Someone will be up.
And Softnum through the officer soldier fight again, getting a little bit more experience. Still seeing seeing the hit from taking 400 to 200 damage. You're very okay with that.
Even though this is a pretty slow spot, this would be a good place to use a Silk Web, actually, just to give yourself a little more time.
Yeah, again, with the absence of J items in shops with the potion party, you do kind of forget about them or what some of they could do or just how beneficial they can be. But speaking of beneficial, that edge is going to be very beneficial at Amarith. That defense sword is going to be a nice weapon upgrade for Kayn. We are through the D-Mist. That is one additional key item check we're going to have, and that is a bit of power on Amarith's side being joined onto the squad. We have a pair of princes, we have a lovely disgraced dragoon, we have a princess of the Baron, and we have an old man found in a watery cave.
We're going to check right away on that D-Mist, so let's see what we get.
Now, here's something that's always a bit of a fear. Going in on the left-hand side when you don't know what the key item is and not saving, because this could be a package right here. Never punished. We got a legend sword. That's half an objective.
That D-Mist is coming up money today.
Yeah, that's the only D money we're ever going to get in the seed. If I ever see any other D money, it's going to be sad pandas from everyone. But yeah, Amarith is going and checking shops, about to get the good news that this edge is going to get some shiny sticks, and we're very swiftly running out of checks. And by running out, I mean we have one place left to go.
Music.
Correct. Two spaces left to go. I forgot about our lovely twin harp that we have access to. We have the music for Cave Magnus objective, and we also have ordeals to go up so that Tele can learn the full cavalcade of his spells.
Yes, but I think we'd both prefer that he never learns those spells, because then you can't do the D-Money.
I mean, I do agree with you there, and see, you're playing to my yes, do it that way, but in the same token, that's three boss checks, which we know none of them are going to be D-Mist, and it is that key item that's required. It could be the technical French vanilla with a shot of mocha being being the adamant rock, meaning we do have a forge going on immediately. And we do have Softnum also getting through, also picking up this edge. Very well done by both of these runners. In fact, give both of them a follow, both Softnum and Amarith. They are doing a fantastic show, joining this league and showing off some of the different ways that we can play for Enterprise here. And additionally, the rest of my commentary team here, we have Guerin, who is a fantastic runner and commentator, as I have both seen and am now commentating with. And then we have the wonderful Scarsor, who I've also rolled wonderful seeds for, doing our tracking, and the ever wonderful Queen of the Puffs, Oscar424. All of these people on the team, and give them loves, likes, and follows. They are great people here.
So we get our ordeals check first from Softnum.
Yeah, with the power you have, and Edge coming with that ice claw means that you have any sort of weaponry you really need. Fire claw, not really necessary. Literally one boss has a weakness to it, so you're okay with not seeing it. So we have ice, we have light, we have the possibility of lit claws. Wonderful, wonderful to get. And the joys of Sineki is also the fact that we do get our random equipment, but Edge no longer comes with the level of power that he normally enters the seed with. He doesn't come with full black belt bandana and then his short sword, so he can just be the powerhouse he is. We do find it fairly quickly, and we have vanilla aplenty here. That is Mylon here, kind of chilling with his ghasts.
Yep, and while Softnum's taking that on, we have Amarith down in Eblan Castle with the trap chests. Are you looking for some equipment for that edge?
Really anything beneficial from these chests. Yeah, I was corrected. There is 3 bosses that have it. Golbez, Mylon Z, and Elements Mylon form. So there are a few, but bosses that you're kind of exploiting other weaknesses for example, Mylon Z, you're kind of dealing with the not Mylon Z, sorry, the elements. You're kind of looking more towards the mage form of Rubicante versus anywhere else. Again, that I've seen, but again, sometimes that fire weakness comes very much in handy when we reflect fire 3s.
And Mylon is down on Softnum's side, and this stalemate fight's getting really kind of iffy here.
Last jump from Kane. He and Tella are the only recipients of XP, but that's enough. We're going to get a lovely item check. A duplicate defense sword only.
Well, if it comes up duplicate Kane seed, maybe you take another one.
I mean, that's true, and we still don't know what our package. We still don't know what most of our characters are in the seed. The only one we do know is the Bed Yang that we don't have on our team just yet. We do have a back attack. That is a Dark Elf. That's nothing that's going to be worth worrying about. Max stat here, nothing really great. Yeah, you can see the weak miss, so nothing too scary here. And Rose is getting the good news of this is what happens when you get turned into a pig. You no longer get to cast any spell that is not piggy, unfortunately. Question from chat. Do you have to finish all goals to complete the seed? For this specific flag set, no. We have it set so you need to do 6 of these 7 goals you see there. So you can choose any one that you see, and if you find both Golbez and Safe the Bull Gauntlet in a similar spot, then you don't have to do that. Unless you happen to find both Golbez or the Bull Gauntlet at, say, Baron Basement, or some other cavalcade mixing of that, then it's going to be one objective is not going to be the other.
Yeah, and occasionally these seeds like to really just double up. Where it's like you'll find one of the required bosses at one of the required checks.
Which is always entertaining. Speaking of entertaining, we have Dark Elf down over on Softnum's side. That is very well done by them. And yeah, we are going to get to see who Tella is going to be facing on his own. Because he is our hero, normally the ordeal's changing room is Cecil's glow up, but we have it so that it is going to be a fight done on your own by whoever our hero is. And it being our lovely Tella here today, he's going to be doing this entire fight all on his lonesome.
This is where a good J item or 2 is really kind of handy.
Unfortunately, we really haven't found any good J items, and we also haven't found Tella's favorite in case we have a multi-boss. We have not found ourselves a Stardust Rod, so this is gonna be a bit of a little slog for him, because all he has is tier 1 spells.
But this is Underground access, so okay. Ooh.
That is not going to be fun.
Well,
so this may be probably the worst boss you can probably find here for Tella with no J items, because the magic stat here is a little spicy. As you see Tella taking basically his full health. Yeah, this is, you find everything you can for him, but you do have to come back and do this. That's whew.
And your only other choice really right now is either the trap chest in Eblan, or you have to go and take the harp. One of the two.
And one of our lovely other restreamers, Xenocat, coming up and saying that the worst thing to find here would have been Valvalis. Very true, but with that Magna Key, we wouldn't have found Valvalis there, but no, I get you. And Amarith also taking an unfortunate wipe to this trap chest. Yeah, the power, if you're not really ready for, is with this seed. Yeah, we're all used to seeing these extremely powerful characters from Potion Party. Now you're having to see what you can do with power disparity.
It looks like Softnum might be trying that Harbor Tree shops here in Troya Town.
I mean, it's the last check he has before going to completely underground. He does have the power to get through it with the team we have here. I do agree with doing this check. Not much different than well, he's correct. He's got to get the power so he can go and take care of that. And we get some Cure 2s going here. Yeah, we're basically looking for anything to try and speed run these Magus Sisters because it is not good right now.
I'd love to see either Stardust or a Gaia drone from the J Atoms.
Yeah, you're looking for anything really. At this point, I would be checking every single chest that I come across because you're looking for every possible item.
And Electro was playing Keep Boy here.
I have been very much on the receiving end of that, and that is never fun when you just let me take you over to the island. I promise you can come back soon.
It's all because they didn't buy carrots.
Right? You need the carrots so you can lure them in and be like, hey, come here, friends. We need to have a nice little chat.
I have an unnecessary heal here, but
Hey, save early, save often, heal as much as you possibly can. Never a bad thing. Make sure you do any preparation possible, because it could be the possibility of something else there. Yes, we do get a free heal here, but you never know. That being said, Softnum looks like he's just running straight down. No additional looting, which again, not uncommon. Maybe hoping to spike something good from higher up. Who knows? Amarith finding something a little spicy in that we have here. One of our last trap chests being a Moonveil before we go back and taking care of these black cats again.
yeah, Moonveil is very nice because if you use one, you basically won't take any physical hits the rest of the fight, and it can come in real handy on some punchy fights.
And not only does that blaster effect or the barrier effect really help. Sorry, I saw bluster on the screen, so I got a little forgetful. But it is the fact that it's a longer lasting Star Veil, so that is always nice to have. But what is also going to be nice is we're going to listen to exactly what we're going to get from our wonderful bard of Edward and what kind of music we're having today. And we're going to have the King and Queen be a butt and interrupt what is a fleeting memory from Final Fantasy X. Wonderful game. Great RPG to have. But they do get themselves disappeared while we did have Amarith complete that chest. And we do have a Bahamut summon. We find Rydia. We have an AoE Crystal Sword. And Softnum finds a Mysidian. Not a key item, but you're really happy to see that for your edge.
Yeah, it knocks out the first objective, so that's good for progress. And now has to go face that Mega Sisters over in Ordeals. It's a way to progress.
Yeah, this is where we're going to have to go and do some reshopping and rechecking again to see if we can find something like maybe a Sorcerer Robe or something along those lines. Because if we can get Tello with a little bit of magic defense, then he's going to be able to stand up to those Magus Sisters no problem. Where Amarith is going to be going and checking and seeing the lovely good news of Vanilla into our back attack boss, which wasn't really scary, and then into the Magus Sisters.
And hopefully has the right items to get through it. Otherwise, this is going to feel kind of bad for both runners, feeling they're behind.
And Softnum is doing a final check here. Is going to be getting the item from the Mist, hopefully, because we will see the check in there. Getting that Legend Sword, bringing everybody up to the same key item checks, except for Amarith being just, again, that little bit behind. We do see Ice Brand and Blitz Whips again here. I don't think we saw anything defensive-wise for mages. Yeah, nothing for mages here. So that's the problem with a lot of this like bruiser gear that you see within the game. You're not finding a whole lot of gear in shops for your mages, which is where we start seeing not the problems, but where we start seeing like what do we do from here?
Has anybody checked the Silvira shops yet, or not yet?
Silvara has not been checked. That is correct. So that is where we could find hopefully something, but as of right now, it's just a slog. And yeah, Softnum doing a check is like, maybe we have a football gauntlet or we have a Golbez here, and we both know that it is just a bomb.
In more ways than one, unfortunately.
Hey, so this is that's what happens. We just had the package being dropped in the Mist Cave proper, so the bomb didn't quite make it to Mist itself.
Or the package went off and one of the bombs just went over here to the cave and just made its home here.
And then it made a nice little home, and it had its own family with other bombs, and yeah. But no, this is again, I think just looking for a little bit of experience for our poor Tella, just to see, like, hey, can we do this?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to give very much experience because it doesn't have much to begin with, and it's going to get split because, there's multiple sprites on the screen.
Yeah, split bosses are not exactly what you want to see. Maybe some of the loot there could have been beneficial. Again, it's hard to decide where to go looting and what to do here. This is, again, as much as we can sit up here and postulate and posture and put wherever we want, these runners, again, they have a little bit of nerves going in, so it's very hard to make the decisions when you're on the fly. You have to think like, okay, if I go here, then I got this and I got that. It's so much to think about and so much to keep in the back of your head that it's hard to keep track sometimes. So I kind of understand it. Oh, I forgot Softnum had not done the Fabul defense yet. So he's going to get the good news of no key item here. Actually, no, we don't even know what the key item is here because we had a wyvern that was bounced off of.
That's right, he's going to get the fun news of it being a multi-party week, which throws a dodges.
And with the damage that we have from Kane, it is not going to be much problem. Speaking of not much problem, Amarith is through that Dark Elf. Wyvern this time doesn't even get a chance to miss the wall on himself. And yeah, that is a wonderful pair of fights down. 2 dragons out of the way that are in fact actually dragons and not fake dragons like some of the other ones we see. We're going to get our first look at what this Fabul check is.
Well, speaking of packages,
and speaking of Burning Mist, yep, that's exactly what you're looking for. Again, not helpful with getting Tello through that fight, but we could get ourselves yet another character. And what actually could be what could be very cheeky here, if Softnum wants to do it and wants to get through that. And I really don't want to do this, and I really hope we don't. We could get ourselves our 5th character. Softnum could go and do could go up and do the D machine grind, get a lot of EXP on this Tella, and then just his agility doesn't grow very well, so we could do that and just shove a couple of hundred extra HP onto him. And I say a couple of hundred as opposed to an extra couple of thousand because his HP growth is whoa boy.
yeah, Tello doesn't get a whole lot. If he gets over 1,000 in his seed, he's doing pretty well.
Also, when I realized, and I'm glad somebody realizes this, that Tello doesn't get weak until after Ordeal. So yeah, we're kind of stuck here. This is, you know what? We had a seed that looked like it was going to be very quick, but yeah, you know what, Oscar, you kind of outdid yourself with a sneaky dumpster fire of a seed. I'm very proud.
Let's make up for that Tello start, right?
Tele Darkness Crystal start, yeah, is the only thing I think that can really bail this Tele out would probably be finding a Silent Staff. But we're going to see Amarith take this fight and get the good news of what's up here. Good and bad news. Also, Jay Brunter giving us the heads up. Steal Stardusts from the hair dryers. What is this level of knowledge? Unfortunately, we don't have Porum to do the to basically drop the morale stat of enemies, but that is bold. That is very interesting. That's fun to keep in your back pocket. Mind you, they are very high level, so poor Edge here is not going to be, stealing from them anytime soon. Speaking of anytime soon, Amarith is getting the good news that she is not going to be getting any spells through anytime soon to these sisters, or at least that middle sister.
Yeah, it looks like based on the spell power, probably go down right with this one. Yeah.
Again, you don't really expect the sisters to do a whole... It's like, oh, this is just ordeals. There's nothing here. It's not that bad. It's that bad when you're just like, why is this happening?
Yeah, and realize that it's going to go elsewhere. Probably going to check the Twin Heart first, because she hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's you take one of those opening... I think we saw some hourglass. Yeah, we have an hourglass. So what I think you do is you go to the moon, you do that trap chest, and you just stop them, and you let Edge just keep stealing until you get what you need. And if you don't, then, I mean, you reset and you try again. I think that's the way you got to do it. Unless maybe, as we know, as Wyvern Standard Time or Battle Speed 6 could help out there, but...
Yeah, I mean, if Tella could find that Silent Staff, maybe just chug a Bacchus wine to steal from the Ogre's Ear or something like that, and try that. It'll work.
There is also, as we could talk about, vampires. That's the thing, and vampires as well, and that's really interesting. It's you use the vampires, you reflect it off the wall that's on yourself, and you can just kind of like as long as you can survive until you can get that one off and hope it bounces onto Cindy. Yeah, it's this is interesting. This is just a very interesting position to be in.
Yeah, Vampire on Mindy though might take out the one that's really damaging to you, which is what Spellcaster, and then you can try to reflect it on Cindy next couple rounds.
True. And Xenocat, we do have a power staff that is for sale in Kaipo, so we do have that option if we want to go that way.
And let's come back to the Wyvern that was faded earlier. Get through it this time pretty easily.
Yeah, not really have anything to fear. And Rosa, again, with that great stat, is just saying, hi, we're going to make sure that Wyvern goes down and is going to be getting some wonderful hits. Yeah, big hit from Kane, nice Berserk hit from Edge, and that is a Wyvern that is all done but the Cryon. Comments in chat about Lit 3 seeds. There was one we have known by Tricker where it's just like, do you want the worst that we can get in free enterprise? This is the worst that we can get in free enterprise. Where it teaches, it's some of those ones that just teach you some of the worst things that you can possibly have to go through in Freen, and it is very much a great learning tool, but it is not for the faint of heart. You don't start with those. You do those after you've done about however many seeds until you want to put yourself through that kind of pain and get yourself some gray hairs.
Both runners wishing that Defense Orc go on to Tella.
Right? Where's my Omni equip?
And it is Dupe Kane. The package check.
And that is water burning down mist. I don't know how that works, but it does.
Looks like it's a steam burn, really.
Those actually kind of hurt. You ever had one of those?
Nope, don't want to.
You really don't. They're not fun. I worked in the kitchen for a long time, and it was not fun to have that happen. Ooh, that's a nice Cane sprite, though. Softnum is in fact going up, and we are going to get yet another shot here on our deals. We do have some more gear. We do have some we have a wizard robe and hat. We have a power staff on our lovely Golbez himself. Yeah, there's some good possibilities that we can maybe get through this time, but it is. Whew.
Our Reester pointing out, it'd be great to see a Golbez here at the package check. That'd be kind of cheeky. Or a Fabu Gauntlet.
I would be very okay with a cheeky Golbez here, because meaning objectives into objectives is always a good call, always a good fun time to find. Well, we have re-received the Magma Key, and we have...
Ooh!
We do have a requirement here! Blessed run. Blessed see.
Until you see the Crystal Sword, that's a Curse Seed again, right?
No. Question in chat. Can Tella recall Quake? No, that is not on the list of spells that he can do. I think the only spell that he can cast... actually, there is one spell that's on his list he can cast. I have to check now.
Is it a Virus?
That is, I believe that's it. No, he knows Virus. Like, he learns Virus. So it is a 15% chance of casting Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, or Toad. A 5% chance of Break, Bio, Tornado, or Death. That's the one that I couldn't remember because he does not learn Death or Fatal naturally by ordeals, and it also has a 20% chance of doing nothing. But yeah, this is the Alt Gauntlet, as known as the Football Gauntlet. We have the loveliness of the Alt Gauntlet, where instead of the basic fights, you have 6 fights that are always scripted. You have 5 fights, 1 less fight, but they are taken from the encounter table in the area. Now, as you see here, you get some enemies that we don't normally see in Free Enterprise, sandworms and the like. However, what happens is you can find some really funny bosses later on. You can find, say, oh, I don't know, maybe the fact of you can find the Fatal Eye in the Moon. That has more HP and is way worse to deal with than Plague for some reason, and has the boss script.
Small program game, you know.
But Amarith is through that. We have objective 3 on the board. We are all tied up to objectives. And Softnum is taking yet another fight at this Magus Sisters. Again, big shout outs to Softnum for the just trying to get through this. And yeah, is decided, you know what? We're bonking our way to victory here, and we're going to hit with some change rods. Again, this is really, really just a rough situation to be in. And just knowing what you have to deal with, like what has to happen here. I think the most important question we're going to have to ask our runners after this is how much were they cursing Asuka's name when they came and found this fight here?
I think there's going to be a lot of unrepeatable words, unfortunately, in that exchange.
What? No, they're super repeatable. Just, we're going to have to mute them if they say it.
Look, even though it's after midnight, I still can't say them on stream.
So, I love the fact that Jay Runter in chat has been saying out these really weird things, because this is a vanilla glitch that people have done, and is kind of shenanigans. You steal the harp to glitch onto Tella to back row him so he can attack from the back row. Now, that is something that you can do where you can steal shields and put them on Yang, which is hilarious, by the way. But yes, we have seen vampires. They're up on the moon. That is one of the ways we get through here. I am just all for the way these runners are going through this, though. Amarith, though, is going up and checking here in Zot 1, or for the trap chest. I think maybe trying to spike something? I'm here for what we're going to find. Again, it's just, there's so much that you're just... It's, what do you do at this point? This is a lot... Again, we're looking at this with outside knowledge because we have the brain trusts going on there. This is a situation you don't come in on Free Enterprise very often, if at all. Think about it this way. When was the last time you were stymied by a boss for this long in any Free Enterprise seed? Or what boss has put an end to a run we look at and go, huh, well, how do I do this? It's not something that comes up often, if ever, right?
It's rare, although one of the races I had in a previous tournament, we ran into something like that, where I know one of my opponents, that was a turtle that was in a bad spot, and I think he ended up grinding for like an hour trying to get through it.
Oh, I'd 100% believe it. There are some seeds out there that are legendary and legacy-like that have a bunch of discussion around them, from this is just like where it was rough or where it did this. But yeah. It's just, there's so much of what could and could not be beneficial. And yeah,
Oh,
the unfortunate thing is you're not gonna get that Zeus Rage off before the walls. I think without BS6, maybe you would. And Amarith is bailed out. That is a Stardust Rod on the. Oh man, this is so spicy. I love this. This is a check where this is a play that you just yep.
and it's gonna be real tough for Softnum because there's no real reason to check that chest for any progression reason. I mean, it can't give you any progression. There's no key items in the trap chests. You can't get through Zot anyways. You've already seen the demist.
Yeah, the only reason why you would do that is again, it's you're looking for trap chest and hoping to spike something good. You're hoping to spike literally the Stardust Rod, as I'd mentioned earlier, or try as we saw, or a Silent Staff. Like there's two items that directly bail you out of this, and those are the two. Aside from going and doing and getting the vampires on the moon, but yeah, Softnum definitely going and getting this last trap chest, and Amarith is like, you know what, I'm here. I'm gonna go do music. I really, really respect how both runners are now taking this and taking the different approaches to these seeds. Again, this just shows it's again, you can throw your head against certain objectives in certain fights, and it does take time for you to remember. It's like, oh, like yeah, these races are all for fun, but there are still nerves involved, and there is still that whole, well, what do I do? How do I take care of this, right?
Yeah, it looks like Softnum's in the treasury trying to see if he can get something here. Hopefully he'll decide to go upstairs then and try the tower itself.
That is the hope. But we do have. Hey, look, we have ourselves a charm harp, something that we can not glitch on right now because you have to steal it to work it on. But yeah, the other worst boss in Free Enterprise, and something that we very rarely see is and bailed out a different way.
Yeah, that won't necessarily. I should kill all three of them at once. That Stardust won't get reflected, so that's good.
Wow, Troya having answers. This is who this is enough. And see, this is why again, my inner loot goblin is just very, very happy right now because it's like this is what happens when you go and open that extra treasure chest that you said you didn't want to open. So, yep. And our lovely restreamer in chat saying, "See, I roll nice seeds, kind, generous seeds." The lie detector test has detected that is a lie. This is a seed and a half. This is not just a seed. This is if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean we're already more than an hour in. We still have underground access yet, so I mean this is a pretty challenging one.
I mean, we have underground access. We just haven't obtained it. We know exactly where it is. But what we are going to do is we're going to let Amarith give us a lovely reprise of the Serenade of a Fleeting Memory from Final Fantasy X, as played by our wonderful bard, who we hope to get a spoon for very, very shortly, because I want to see Spoonward do some work here. And with the King and Queen ruining our music yet again, that is Softnum getting through with an 800 damage against all. That is Helen learning all of spells. That is finally the Magma Key remaining in our inventory. We have complete access to the entirety of the seed, minus gating key items. We have an entire place to our oyster. We have Recontella now, but we have the important thing is we have finally through the hardest boss in this game, the seed, Chef's Kiss. Like this is a great start for Dumpster Fire of a seed.
Yeah, I'm sure Softnum probably feels behind, given how late it is in the seed. He doesn't really realize, though, he actually is the first to get the Magma Key and get out of there, so...
Oh, I'm telling you, if I was in Softnum's shoes right now, I 100% would be feeling behind. And that's... Yeah, this is not anything that has been... Again, we talk and we make it seem like this is like, oh, just do this and this and this. It's because, again, we don't have the panic on our shoulders right now, whereas our runners, they have that, and they're just like, oh, what am I doing? And again, they're fantastic for the fortitude that they have for getting through that.
And Amber should be getting the Magma Key shortly, and getting through with that Stardust Rod.
Yeah, again, just a nice Stardust cast by either one way or the other, and either way, it's technically Amarith is going to have a little bit of the advantage of having that Stardust Rod on for later, but it's on Tellus, so is it really an advantage?
Well, if a different mage decides to show up in the seed, maybe one of your Palom or Rydia or something like that.
Don't look. You're only going to get one murder child, and it's going to be Porum, and because that's exactly what Asuka rules, and this is showing up to be an Asuka seed of fantasticness. Also, speaking of, she is pointing out the fact that Amarith is one objective up because we do have the package check giving us the Fabul Gauntlet, where Softnum is going and checking down here and doing the Fey March. Again, check your objectives, check your freebies. Always a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of doubting Softnum is ever going to check that. Especially if he sees it's a dupe Kane. It's like he already has Kane. He doesn't want a second one. So the odds he takes it are very low.
Again, it very much depends on what we find later on. Hey, look at Pan. That's why you always do your freebies first. It depends on what we find too, because if we do not find a spoon anywhere, I love Eddie. Don't get me wrong. I do love my Bard Word, but as of right now, he is the most dead weight, and I would 100% take a second Kane versus Edward in the sense that you can give each one of them a defense sword and then just kind of let them rip, roar, and tear all the way through the seed. And Amarith taking a quick wipe there. I think just double checking something and maybe wanted to lower the battle speed. But we do see some Bacchuses here for sale down in Feymarch. We got some goodies down in the ground. And we're gonna get a check of the Feymarch bosses. That's Golbez, and that's
Ew.
Turtle.
That turtle is not nice in that location.
As a speedy turtle. You see, you thought Wave from Leviathan was bad? Wait till you feel a wave from that turtle. That's going to be a chunky hit. Also, I'm fairly confident I think Golbez at that spot can do enough damage to finish himself off there. But speaking of being finished off, Amarith does use the cast of the Comet, does get that through that with that Stardust Rod, and we are GG's for both of them. Ooh, through, again, I still say is the ugliest fight in this seed.
I was like, Softnum's going to take on that Golbez.
I kind of agree with this. Again, this is where you're star bailing up and kind of going from there, so you're not really opposed to however this fight goes.
We'd be opposed if Tella stays up.
Ha ha, how are we doing today, folks?
Yeah,
Have
all
you
we really
been
need is
injured
like
by DKC
4 or so
at the
casts
Hobbit?
from
Suffered the
Golbez
mental
himself
anguish of
here, because
becoming a
apparently,
Paladin?
as noted
Lowballed
in the
on a
chat by
settlement
one of
from
our
Overpower
other
and
stream
Cannon?
leads,
Walled off by
Cubby Wolf,
Mallet Upper Babel?
7,500
Get
lit
killed for your
3s,
woe.
so he's gonna hurt
Crack
himself
team of
real
Golbez
bad
will
here.
fight for your rights in any way that you have been wrong.
Wait until you see real justice.
And I
Email,
always gotta
mealtime
remember,
shoutout
your
at
characters do have to do that
IguessHe'sFull.com.
final hit, so you
Again,
just
that
have
email
to get
is
the
mealtime
reflex
shoutout
up
at
and kind of go from there.
IguessHe'sFull.com. Get the guild
But this
you
is where
deserve
we
with
might even
Golbez,
be tempted
Golbez,
to
and
change
Golbez.
and do and make sure we mini or piggy some of our characters.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Tella is one of the 2 left up, so only the experience on nobody, because it was a little bit fast there.
Yeah, again, this is where it's you might have to do a little bit of prep for it.
And let's say Soft's got a nope out for now. Go do that pan check.
And I do apologize for chat. I do know that I talked over Softnum's Golbez, and Golbez ad. I do apologize for that. I forgot that they do have their own little memes. Again, we love them here, so my big apologies, and I did take that away. Hopefully, Softnum does it again. But in the meantime, is going to be taking this pan and is going to be utilizing it on Yang, getting a couple of key item checks for free, as well as we're finding some coffins on Amarith's side.
And can pick up that Porum now if he wants to, because there's a Sand Ruby. Which could be bad because it's probably going to turn him away from that package check.
Also, the Sand Ruby was a Yang, not a Porum, if I remember correctly.
I'm getting seeds mixed up here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it was Yang. I could be very much wrong. It had been a while since I've seen the character, and it could have been blonde as opposed to the bald-headed monk.
No, I'm pretty sure Porum was actually my seed last night. Sheesh.
Hourglass 2s and exits. Not a bad shop, really.
Yeah, though with telling the pro, you don't really need the exits.
No, but I mean, you'll never say no to seeing them in shops anywhere if you don't have an exit caster already on hand. But we are going to get a armor shop check. Just some Dragoon armor. Crystal armor is better for selling than for having. But with the weapon shop being, oh boy, that's where we're paying off.
Yep, some good Hanzo steel there, and Gungnir if you want it for Kane, although Defense Sword's better.
Oh yeah, defense sword much better. This was looking going, why are Gungnir so expensive? Yeah, very happy to buy even one ninja sword, especially since we have some Hanzo steels, so pairing those together is going to be very beneficial. And hey, look, it is Sir, I used to be the biggest headache, and am now still hitting hard, though.
Yeah, this is still gonna hurt. He's still speedy.
Yeah, he still hurts a lot. He's still much a pain, but you no longer have to worry about, anything aside from just getting through this fight. And this is the point where I think you may take whatever character comes in and boot off anybody you can, just so you can make sure to get through the next fight.
We've already seen our dupe, so we will get someone new at least.
This is very true. It could even be a Porum. Also, Armor Shop having cursed rings, and we have Dr. Dialogue, not a bad fight. That is a Cecil, and I'm sorry, but we are going to have some sad bard noises happening.
And it's a curse seed again.
Yeah, unless we find ourselves a spoon right here, then I don't think... I'm not sure if that Cecil's going to stay, but again, not sure. Meanwhile, our restreamer Oscar, who is very much a Bard fan, is saying, I really hope that there is a spoon in the spite section here. I'm 100% here for it. Let's get ourselves a Spoonward instead of a, I think, best Lightsaber Cecil, which is still really good, but not quite your Crystal Sword or Excal Cecil. And we're not going to see an Excal from the Forge.
Yeah, the last time I was in a race, Oscar was calling, and she was calling for this situation with Edward. Crystal Sword was the next drop, so we'll see how it goes this time around.
Look, she's not that spiteful. But the real question is, what are we getting from the Yang and the Pantarin? Because that is a pair of key items we're getting.
Earth Crystal.
Party Rock.
Nice. And a Baron Key.
Ooh, we have an objective. So, Pan, semi-required here. So that means that that is going to be... Yeah, so that Pan is hard required. With the Tower of Zot, the characters that are up there, and what we have left, that means we have Boo, and we have Palom or Porum there, meaning that the Baron is going to have the other. So between those checks that we have, we're going to find ourselves a little bit more strength.
And Amarith meanwhile is through Dr. Dialogue, whose dialogue we have just ignored the whole time here.
Again, sometimes you got to double check. 9 key items too. We've been kind of flooded with key items in the back half of this seed. And that is in fact the Punchman Yang. We are getting him up. Whether we're putting him into the party or not, that's Softnum's decision. Amarith, this is not like Pokemon. Poison does not absolutely finish you off. All it does is weaken you. That is the hook that we see there, and we are going to get the Warp Glitch to see what we have. So the latest in Dwarven fashion is a necklace made out of a hook, and what is hidden in the Darkness Crystal is the other half of Forge. So yeah, we got some goodies here in... Actually, technically that's a required Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, because it blocks both the Rat Tail and the Forge check, so yes.
Technically, it only really traps the Rat Tail, unless Rat Tail specifically has the Luca key, in which case that's funny.
Or Cursed Rings in the Treasury.
Saving some money for Softnum. That's exactly what you want to see. So we have raiding the Treasury so far.
And a Heroine Robe.
Ooh, I'm here for that. And the Bacchus wine too, I think I saw. Hey, look, the vampire that would have been helpful a little bit earlier. Honestly, for the Treasury, probably a solid 7 out of 10. Well, for this tier of equipment, I'd say that's probably closer to an 8. Hey, look,
and
more defense swords.
And some Zeus gauntlets. Yeah.
Actually, the best item in that shop, and so So I will fight on this one because I love my boy Eddie and I want him to do some work. We have gold and silver apples there. You sell everything, you get some apples. Edward has some HP now.
Yes, but unfortunately, without the spoon, his apples aren't all that good.
Look, it's just apple sauce. He has to spoon them in. I would still sell the bank and give him a couple of hundred extra HP. That can help, especially on Zeromus.
Yeah, you'd like to just survive the Nerf Big Bang there.
Oh, absolutely. Apples are a wonderful item.
So Softnum is not going to do the trap chests here in Zot, so he's not going to get the news of that Stardust Rod.
And again, like, unless Palom specifically is up here, you're not going to be taking him. And in all honesty, with this team here, going through the rest of the fights, you can kind of just keep your Berserkers and go through it. You're not going to really want to pivot mid-seed.
We see it's an Ashura Rod there.
Asura Rod, but again, 3 objectives we have going on now, so that is exactly what you want to see. I think it is a white casting rod, so we don't have a Stardust Rod anymore. We have a Holy Rod, or Holy on a stick. And we're now getting a first look at what boss we have here. We have a different mage boss here. We have Asura proper. Somebody get that rune axe out.
Hopefully it wasn't sold.
Or the mute daggers. Oh, Amarith doing a bit of a bold call here. And first check's lucky. We're getting the warrior check. Going to be getting Tella up, get some good XP here. This is going to give not a full boost to Cecil. I think he's far enough ahead now where he's not getting a slingshot XP, but XP is XP anywhere. And again, maybe a shot at one of those shiny holy swords that everybody wants to have, but we're not going to get.
Softnum is through that Ashura. It's going to show us who our 2 characters are up here in Zot.
Again, this is either it's Palom, Porum, or Fusoya are the only ones we haven't seen. Palom, Porum, Fusoya, or Rydia. So we have a swath of mages that we can pick up.
Have we seen Sid?
Or Sid, thank you for the reminder.
And Rydia is apparently in the service of Golbez today, and who has she tied up?
At this rate, it's probably going to be Palom, because no one wants to listen to that little brat talk. And we're through the chest, yet another Moonveil, so we have all of our trap chests not cashing out with anything that our runners really want, though Moonveils are very nice. And hey, look, it's Sid. You were just mentioning him.
Okay, so Murder Child ties up Old Man.
I get that. She's trying to save him for when he blows up the mountain in Agard.
There, she's talking to him so much she drives him to blow up the mountain just to get away from her.
I mean, it could be 2 things. Also, that Yang, not long for the world. We have Bahamut. I kind of agree with this. I still think this is a little bit too late for Rydia, personally. You do have a lot of experience that you can get for her, and you can slingshot her up to beneficial. But at this point, like, again, I know there are people who are big fans of Rydia, and yeah, you can't say no to certain characters, but I think right now it's just she had her time to shine. And it's just, you gotta bench her.
I guess the question here is Softnum still going to do a D-money grind, or does he feel too far behind to risk that?
Yeah, this is at the point in the seed where you have these few goals left, and I say few goals, but we have like kind of 3 where we, well, really, we only have 1 that we don't know. We don't know what the Baron basement throne is. You have enough HP where you can just kind of go steal some sirens and call it a day. This is where double XP starts to really show where it puts the D-money grind to shame. If you do go with that Rydia, you get you only have to do like a quarter of the D-monies that you normally have to do. But for everybody else, that's like, I think, maybe 5 eggs tops, and you get all the experience you're going to need for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, the physical characters get where they need to get pretty much quicker than Rydia does.
Yeah, the only fight that's going to be a quote problem is like this Golbez, and then now you're just getting the HP so that you can nerf Big Bangs, have your Zerkers zerked up, and just go from there. Because Tella is going to be doing Zerk. He's going to Zerk up your fighters, and then he's going to be eating the dirt. It's going to be Rosa keeping everybody up with Cure 4. It's going to be Cecil, Yang, and Ed and Kane, doing all the heavy lifting with Berserk. And especially with these Bacchus ones available, there's zero reason, like, with the characters we have readily and easily available, it's try-Zerk comp, 1 healer, 1 dead anchor. It's your basic comp.
Yeah, I mean, the seed's gone so long, it's like trying to get to the Reflect strat with 3 mages, it's just going to take too long, I think, at this point.
But again, everybody has their preferred characters, and I've seen people make end bosses work with the characters I would never pick them up in a race like this, and I've lost to comps like that. So there are no such thing as bad decisions. It's just decisions that you were most comfortable with. I personally love me a brawler comp. You give me 3 fighters, you give me a white mage, and you give me an anchor, and I am a happy Dragoon. Whereas I know there are some people who, they love their mage strats. They absolutely love watching mages tear through seeds. And props to them. When you run out of MP, I'm going to keep swinging until my HP's gone. And then again, who knows?
Yeah, personally, I prefer Brawler strats over Reflect. But, you know, you can't have just one tool in the toolbox. Otherwise, you tend to have problems sometimes. Because seeds will say, nope. We should go the other way.
Yeah, that's why anytime I do things, you ever see, if you see me with the opportunity to do so and I try my best, you'll ever watch me see a Drain Sword. I will never sell it. I will hold on to it because I know I'll probably find an Avenger sometime, and I usually do. Drain Avenger Cecil is kind of like what I love watching have happen because it's entertaining to me. I love watching Cecil just tear through the rest of the seed and putting my controller down. And speaking of being able to put the controller down, Amarith is able to put the controller down because she got very lucky with that roll. 50-50, Cecil goes down, and we have Kane just lapping up with the Star Bills. A couple of more spells, whereas Softnum is going to get us a key item check. We have Zot giving us the Pink Tail.
Good for him, and armor as soon as the hook shows up on his side, but he doesn't have it yet. Because he has not gone and checked the Dwarf Castle.
Very, very true. Yeah, this is a spot again, very fast. At this point, you can try and get some XP on some of your characters, but you're still better off unless, it's hard to do so. It's really hard, but you never know. Also, Drain Spears for throwing here. But Amarith getting lucky. We're getting another Star Veil off on the Cecil, so he's going to be getting some experience. We're looking trying to get experience on everybody, which I am here for at this point.
The Golbez probably taking enough now where just one bonk will do it.
Yep, and there it is. And Cecil swinging that sword, doing some damage, knocking him down. Golbez in the bag. That is objective number 4, and objective 4 done for Amarith, ripping through this back end of the speed. Very well done fight for Zeromas. Or for Golbez, sorry. A little bit of lag on that side, so we're going to see what happened in just a moment.
And the retainer to the King of Baron today is the Dealers.
Just the Zeus Gauntlet. Yeah, Amarith just has to go do that pan check, is going to be fully in go mode, and then has to do the rundown through the lunar subterrane. Honestly, a seed that started off really rough and then picked up greatly done. Yeah, this is a wonderful seed for our runners to have both suffered and enjoyed through. And we also have Amarith going and checking some more of these trap chests. Probably not feeling like she's got enough power. Again, who knows? Softnum doing a little extra looting, it looks like here. See, and this is where we might see a little bit of a difference in casters. We may see, again, this Viridia gaining some experience and going from here, because this is going to be another mage showing up now. There's no two ways about it. It is either going to be Porum, Palom, or is going to be our boy Fusoya.
Looks like Amarith's going to be in go mode pretty soon, probably checking this pan out.
Just remember which is the fastest way to Yang's wife. We will know who in the castle, sorry, in Cave Bahamut it is. It is in fact Quarterleg in Cave Bahamut and Full Leg here in Baron Castle.
Although we're going to not see Quarterleg at all now, knowing we're already in go mode, so.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, if you're wondering what the magic stat was like here, pretty high.
So that Ice 3 is a little bit badly timed.
Counterfire is doing just enough, and Amarith does turn in the pan, and she is officially in go mode. Does have both the Earth Crystal and the Baron Key, and is doing things in what a lot of people like to call the optimal order, doing the Zot check into Baron, so you can see lands you right there, so you do one into the other.
Yep, so at this point, is there anything rude in that basement that could really block progression here? I don't think there really is at this point.
Honestly, that we have left, I don't think so. We have enough firepower to get through a plague if it was there. The Magus Sisters are gone. We have made anything else can just be stopped. Hello, Fusoya. I would replace Rydia with you in a heartbeat, but that's up to whatever Softnum wants to do.
Black Mage, I would get rid of Rydia here because Fu's online and she's going to take a long time to get there.
Debating on getting rid of the Rosa for a second. That's interesting. There we go. And Kidia is gone because we haven't done the check in Dwarf Castle. But yeah, Rydia is in fact yeeted. Our restreamer is very happy. We have a Bard yeeted and a Rydia yeeted, so it is equal yeeting of both sides. And Softnum is... Callum, you're on the wrong side, my dude.
It's taking too many lessons from Kane.
I will not have this Kane slander in a comms booth with me go unanswered. Have at you, sir. And have an apple at you, sir. Softnum getting from the Baron dumpster. We are in fact getting an apple that would have been good for Edward, but is instead, yeah, just right there. Is taking pause with this Earth check. Wonder where he's running off to. Meanwhile, Amarith gets to Vetasura, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and we get our runners all the way through here. Again, this I think is probably going to be the entire way that you see the rest of this seed. It's just Amarith taking these three characters, running them through in this exact order, because again, the real nice benefit of Sea Hero is you can have your anchor be in whatever slot you want them to be, so they don't have to be in the middle, and that very nice spot with the higher accuracy is now prime real estate for any of your fighters, and all three of them can be in the front line.
Yeah, and if you really don't want to tell around, you can stick them in the front row in one of the other two spots, and let them be a pincushion, basically.
Leave them in the back, unless you, like, for Zeroma's fight specifically. There's no reason to... I mean, like, you can kind of swap these around and have Cecil just, like, auto-cover Rosa, or manually cover Rosa, or something along those lines. Yeah, we have an adult Rydia gone, we have a Sid gone, and we are going to be taking care of the quick Leviathan right here.
Yep. Not sure what Softnum is trying to do on the moon. Maybe just get some experience, or unfortunately we kind of know it's haunted because you can get go mode without really coming here.
Looking like he might be popping this Siren for some experience. Yeah, I think, yeah, he's looking for the Hourglass 2s, and he's gonna do a couple of King Ryus. Again, life glitching these, this is the best bang for your buck experience-wise, so it looks like this is gonna be the team that he's taking through the rest of the seed.
Yeah, it does have 10 key items to get him 180,000 experience with the life glitch. That's a nice chunk of change.
Speaking of nice chunk of change, that's a nice chunk of change in a boss being taken down. Amarith through the Leviathan fight. Gonna be dumped off right in front of Baron Castle and gonna be taking on one of her last objectives. And at that, I want to do, again, a big shout-out to our restreamer and our tracker, Oscar424 and Scarsor, respectively. Oscar rolling a fairly chef's kiss of a seed, and Scarsor keeping all these items checked and brought in on the latter half of this seed, because we went from nothing to all these key items really, really quick. So it was very much just a quick influx of everything. And speaking of influx, on Softnum's side, influx of 8 to 10 levels at everybody who's not Fusoya. And with Amarith getting that pink tail, says, you know what, I can fight this Baron boss, but you know what's better to fight the Baron boss with? An adamant armor. Going to be turning that in for a nice little bonus real soon, because the no adamant flag is off. We can have the adamant armor, the ultimate armor that trivializes a whole bunch of boss fights, in our back pocket.
Yep, and not only the pink tail, but if Trap has to be nice, you can get multiple adamant armors in these seeds.
No, see, what you gotta do is you do it my way. You just take it. You take one single siren, you go up to the moon, you fight pink puffs, and you get one that way. That's the easiest way to do it. It's just that simple.
somewhere there's a whole bunch of people who are still trying it that way.
I've done it off Restream. It is documented proof, but it was not done on Restream. I got yelled at, but it's fantastic. It is. I'm aiming to do it on a Restream one day.
Somehow this thing tells you that the feed's going to be mysteriously lost when that happens.
Yeah, I have a feeling that when that happens, it's just going to not happen, and no one's ever going to have seen it, and yeah. But we do have Amarith is going and throwing the adamant armor, in fact, on this edge, probably to increase his agility, so we have a better chance of stealing these sirens. Speaking of, there's a siren check we need, and yeah, we're just gonna get some Steven going on. And that is a free Baron basement. That is a Bahamut.
Yep, so Bahamut has only really two things that he does. He counts, and then he's eventually just going to blurg when he gets down to 1.
And Softnum finding out that he needs one more boss location to be fully done with all the Fusoya spells, and that is a rarity. I have never seen it take that long for Nuke to show up. Usually it shows up long before this point. I would have been very happy to find this Fu early and not get Nuke till the last rotation of spells.
Yeah, occasionally, it's you like to get that Nuke around 1,000, 1,200 if you can, but some seeds it just wants to wait a little while.
Well, that's what you love to have happen. It looks like we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with Amarith's side. We will get that feed brought back up to you shortly, although I think we're still just in the middle of stealing some sirens right now.
And to answer the question, chat, yes, sirens can be stolen from the alerts up in the lower Babel trap chests.
And that is, in fact, even a Luca key for your troubles. So, technically, that Baron base. So, we say that Dwarf Castle was hard required. Technically, Baron Basement was hard required, because that's where another of your double objectives are. But you also need Dwarf Castle to turn in that rat tail. So, however you want to do it, 6 of one, half a dozen the other, is how you want it to go. With Softnum getting his third objective up on the board, defeating the Baron Basement done. We do have he's kind of got the world being his oyster right now, needing to get that adamant rock, needing to go and defeat Golbez, and then Forge, and he's kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is because he doesn't know where that gauntlet is, he's going to have to find the rat tail somewhere. We don't know where that is yet. And if it happens to be sitting on the moon, that could be a very, very long trek for him.
Yeah, and at this point you're kind of face checking, because the only thing that you... Well, actually, yeah, no, you are looking for the rat tail, so... Interesting. It's very hard to tell where exactly you'd be going from here.
Yeah, I mean, now, he could face check because he does have Golbez and Fabul, so it's like... Could probably get away with that, but he doesn't necessarily know. I mean, yeah, he needs an adamant still, but... If you're feeling behind, maybe you try to gamble it.
Yeah, at this point, it's really hard to decide what is going to be the best of your two worlds. And we do have Amarith back. We are going to be getting some of these eggs cracked, and the XP we do have is getting real close to the best that we're going to find here. Except I see 9 sirens in the inventory minus what was already taken. So yeah, it's probably about 4 or 5 more, and then off to do Zeromus, or off to do the Baron basement. So this is where it goes back to what I mentioned of what is technically faster. There is the option of this being the fastest way to do your combat, in the sense that you one-shot the eggs, so they do happen faster. If you have to go underground and it's way out of your way, then yes, they are not as fast. But when it comes to double XP, these eggs are the fastest experience, or like EXP period, as long as you have an unlimited resource. If it's a limited resource, then it goes up to gold dragons being above the D-money grind, and then D-money grind being below that, especially with 10 key items and without a slingshot.
Yeah, especially in this case, we don't have to get anybody up to a super high level. It's like we're not trying to learn Nuke on Rydia here or something like that. Or Palom. Yeah. We're just trying to get enough HP on our characters to not get taken out by Stormus's Big Bang, and that's about it.
Roughly about 1,800 on Rosa just to survive on a good time. Anything above 1,400 is more than enough.
Yeah, although if you had to risk a second Big Bang, if you don't know the nerf strats, it can help you get a little higher towards 1,800 or thereabouts.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not confident in doing your nerfing, and again, I know a lot of people aren't, and I agree, and I get that. You generally just look and go, okay, nope, this is going to be good enough. And yeah, Softnum sees that Cecil knows he could have had it a little bit sooner, but says, you know what? No, sorry, my friend, you get to hang out, because he's missing a couple hundred HP on Rosa, but aside from that, this is all you're going to need.
Yeah, it's not like we have a crystal sword for that Cecil, just a defense sword. So, it makes sense.
And we have the levels on our characters, but it looks like Amarith is doing yet another, again, anything that makes you most comfortable for your Z fights is the level you need to be at. There is no magic number. There are some agility numbers and shenanigans we can talk about, but aside from that, it's whatever is best for you. Don't ever say, oh, I have to work and hit this target because this is what everyone says. It's whatever is best for you to do your Z fights. I've taken Z fights where there's the 1200 HP strats that I've personally never even done. I've never done that low of fights. Whereas I know people, like especially our researcher Oscar, who's excelled at them. People who've done Eddie strats, who do them fantastically, and it's something I personally am not very good at. I do it again. I have my way of doing it. You have your way of doing it. There's never a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would not have the patience for Eddie strats because it takes too long, and I'm just not going to be able to concentrate and keep it together that long. So for me, that would be a very bad decision to do that. But if the seed comes up that way, it's like, well, I'm probably going to lose that if that's the case.
Yeah, again, it's whatever is comfortable, whatever is fun for you. And again, at the end of the day, this is a game. We're all here to have fun. And if you find this fun, then do it this way. If you don't find it fun, then don't do it that way.
I know if either runners will think the seed is fun, though.
I mean, I'm finding it fun right now.
A difference in perspective.
Very, very true.
This is like watching a train wreck. We're not actually in the wreck, though.
Also very true. But see, now that you're in Softnum's position and you've defeated that Baron basement throne, do you go and just face check Luca just to be safe that the boss isn't there? Because your last objective, we could have... Oh no, he knows where the football gauntlet is, and that would be Sorry, he doesn't know where the football gauntlet is, and that's what he would be face checking for. Yeah, you're on your key item hunt now for him. Unfortunately, he doesn't know that, though.
Yeah, I mean, he knows where Golbez is, so he can get to 5. I mean, that rat tail, it's like, you've got all 6 moon checks, you've got Lower Babel you could check there, and there's just a lot of places it could be. Looks like Amarith is getting set up now to go do that Baron basement.
Oh, okay. So that was actually very interesting. And I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out there for a second because I saw something happen on stream. If you talk to the square above Softnum, it makes a comment about, is that the legendary or adamant? Can't be, not without the sword, without the legendary sword. I'd never seen that before. I didn't know that was an interaction.
I just saw there was actually a chest in that area that I've never seen before either. So I mean,
No, I saw the comment about adamant, and I'm like, I didn't see that incorrectly, did I? And yeah, no, that was, huh?
it's there. I was talking about the chest though that's on the first floor of that vocal shop.
Oh yeah, no, that's there. No, it's on top, the comment above. Huh, that's very interesting. Again, things you never see until something just shows up. But yeah, Amarith, we have all the levels is going and running through this Baron. We have all sorts of goodies going to happen as we are going to go and take a fight through this this very easily defeated Bahamut. I would be surprised to see a Mega Flare go off, but again, never know what's going to happen. And again, the Zeromus fight can still get combo plattered. I've seen people with 2200 HP walk into Zeromus and get big banged into Meteo or counter nuke into big bang into Meteo. It's happened. I've been there. I've been on the receiving end.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how many times you've done it, I mean, you've done it 10, 20 times in a row, it's like smooth as silk. It's like, the next time can always just be everything just goes to hell in a handbasket. Ugh.
Yeah, and again, we are getting, we do have Amarith very strongly in the driver's seat, but that does not mean that she has won just yet, but it is very much time running out for Softnum here.
And it looks like that early package check may end up being decisive.
See, we make a lot of comments and we joke. It's like, oh, know your restreamers, pay attention to that. But there are times where you just have to do those checks and you have to sit through it. Because again, that 2 minutes of a check saves so much in certain other aspects. And again, it's out of your mind too. You look at the package and go, you know what? I don't have to worry about this anymore.
And Amarith's still looting, so, I mean, okay. A loot goblin is a fun thing, but it's like you've already got everything you need at this point in time.
Again, it's you never know what you could find. We did find a ninja hat there, so that's always a beneficial item.
And counting with Bahamut, we'll see if he gets to 1 this time.
He can only count to 4. But yeah, those hits coming out fast and furious. This Bahamut is very much not long for the world.
You made it to 3.
Yeah, oh,
tried.
We made it to 3. Amarith gets the Luca key, finds out that this, without the warp glitch, this would have been a very hard required Baron basement throne. But that is objective number 6. That is the crystal. That is Amarith officially 1 run away from a Zeromus fight.
Yep, and since we didn't find the pass, Amarith's going to have to actually walk the whole moon down. It's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes from here, I think, right?
I think we're up to about 4 because of the cutscene and running out of here and everything from there. This is where it's like, is this faster to walk all the way out or do you do the last fight? It's, again, it's a discussion back and forth between where's the faster way to go through this.
This is
Amarith forgetting that you have to go through. You have to either go back to the waterfall or take the last fight. Yeah, take the last fight. So we're still about roughly 5 minutes from Zeromus.
That's okay, Z doesn't have to sleep tonight.
What's sleep? But Amarith is finding out that we have full leg and knows that quarter leg is in fact on the other spot. Softnum asked the question by his associate of Golbez, Golbez, and Golbez, not associated with Golbez, who is not from Golbez, and Golbez, does get the defeat, gets the Zeus Gauntlet, and he is one objective away, whereas Amarith is a walk away from being finished with Baron Castle fully.
So I guess now if you're Softnum, the question is where do you go next to try and find that rat tail? Or try and find your gauntlet?
Kane Summon is on, correct? So that means that we do have the possibility of it being side by side.
Yep, that is a possibility. That would be a pretty rude possibility with that turtle there.
I would be 100% here for that, just because that means we actually have more of a race than you may think. But it is a very, very rude possibility. With the Thunder Claw, if we had that up, or even swapping up to the Ice Claw and Berserking Edge, that's a lot of damage for him. But yeah, Amarith looking at that Foo saying, nah, sorry, man. I've got a team already. Softnum taking the fight and is going to start swinging furiously.
And that Foo goes down right away, and you've got an early wave coming.
Yeah, I think at battle speed 6, with how quick this is, we're gonna see a wave no matter what. HP's cut, so it's gonna be a lot less of a hit than what it would be normally, but I think we're still gonna see it, just because of how quick that came out. Whew, look at how high that hits.
Ugh.
Yeah, that is fast. That is punchy. This is where you start off. If you do anything,
You curse that Tella first off.
First you curse Tella, then you start off having your first person utilizing the taking use of that lit bolt, just so you immediately get rid of that.
Now, is it worth putting on the ninja on here? Because Tella's agility is actually at 0, and sometimes that does screwy things in some of these fights.
That I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure if this is one of the spots where it does kind of shenanigansy things, but I think you might be okay with the 0 agility Tella. And Softnum going back in for a second shot. I'm very much here for this, and Amarith is on the moon, getting ready to do that walk down. Yeah, here comes the big wave. This is basically what you would have seen at full power. Yeah, roughly about 1600. Yeah, as I said, this is your first turn with Edge. 100% has to be using the lit bolt.
Is actually just gonna noob out of here and go somewhere else.
I also agree with this. That is a very rude turtle, and you do not want to take that fight right now if you do not have to. Softnum instead going to be doing Keyless Tower, hoping that this is where we're going to find something, whether it's an objective in the sense of a boss proper, or if we have something that leads to a boss, because it could only actually be tower key. It can only be tower key up here leading to it, or it would have to be the boss itself. Or in fact, stealing some more sirens.
Yeah, if he was to check the tower, I mean, we know the boss isn't here because we know where the boss is, but
yeah, he will not get lucky for that. The only thing he could hopefully get is a spike a rat tail up here, which is very much possible because all of your K main checks are weighted higher than any other locations. So it is more possible for you to find the spot up for it on the moon. However, you could still spike something very nice. And I don't think Softnum actually turned in that Adamant armor yet, has he either?
No, he hasn't.
Well,
Maybe
it doesn't.
waiting for the rat tail to do a 2-for-1.
Might be. And while it doesn't really help with the with any HP based or percentage based damage, it could help with resists on the punch, so Rosa could last a little bit longer, or it could help with anything else just for survivability. So it's not a bad idea to be grabbing that already, but in the same token, it's knowing boss scripts and knowing how they work, and that's where a lot of the that turtle knowledge is coming from. But I will say that is going to be something that we're going to have to go through Softnum's mind when it comes to this part. Is where was your, like, how panicky was he feeling, and where was he thinking some of the bosses could be? And well, we have guards here, so fairly easy fight to get through.
Yep, these will be the Baron guards, so weak to the rune axe and things that hurt casters.
Additionally, the boss bit is finally off for them again with Moonveil Mixer back, so we can just use coffins, use stone, use fatal, use weak, any other way we want to take care of them.
I didn't think off slot stone ever worked.
Hey, it does, and especially if you use it on Thusoya.
Looks like we have a little bit of a technical difficulty on Amarith's side again, but it's probably going to be getting into that Z fight when she comes back.
Yep. So yeah, that's the big thing over there. But what we do see here on Softnum's side is we are seeing again the guards being taken care of, thrown in the microwave, nuking them up, and serving them up on a silver platter of XP, and just getting some fights going on here again. Nice, quick damage. Just get them knocked out. Hopefully you're going to spike the rat tail from here, and we may see a nice change from this.
Meanwhile, Kane was turned into both bacon and then shrunk.
Tiny bacon.
But there's the rat tail.
Oh, baby. We got ourselves a race, ladies and gentlemen. That bailed him out so very hard. He was about to be on a face check nightmare trying to find out where that gauntlet is, and I am going to be very much picking his brain with how he felt, knowing that I gotta know if they've had the conversation when this race is finished of where the alt gauntlet was, because oh boy.
Yeah, because I mean that was open from almost the beginning, and it feels bad when you make that fade and it turns out that was the one you just didn't need. You shouldn't have made it that time around.
Very true. But again, the other part is like this was open from the beginning, so we could have even skipped the forging 100%. We could have skipped any other objective. We could have skipped the Baron Basement Throne for that check. It's back and forth of what is the right call and which is the right of the seven to do, knowing what you have open. With how free Cave Magnus is, you can't really skip that. The Fabul Gauntlet, it's Fabul Gauntlet or Rat Tail. That's one of the two you're going to have to swap away from.
The way the seed is laid out, yeah, one of the two.
And we have Amarith is back. The crystal has been thrown. We have our opening Big Bang put out, and we have Cloud of Darkness being our boss for this evening. And Softnum is getting his crystal, and we are, in fact, getting a Bacchus wine for our rat tail. You know what? Great for a party of berserkers.
Looks like Amarith just took a unnerfed Big Bang there, just before we had a little bit pause again, and
looks like we are doing some crystal nerfing. Black hole coming out again. This is a spot where Amarith is in a very, very comfortable position. We have fighters all above 1800 HP. We have swings coming out fast and furiously. Rosa's even doing the nerfing and the healing. She can do it all. She's a one white mage team right now.
yeah, but that crystal came out before a shake, so I don't know if that's gonna work for a nerf.
The important thing is that her getting off that tier 4 to keep everybody topped up is going to be the important thing.
And we have Roth,
there's
so
Roth. Yeah, this is basically the HP we have here. This is Amarith 100% in the driver's seat. And yeah, looks like that is eventually, once these rocks keep going, that's a fast cloud mist. Basically, we have everything going here, while Softnum is getting some more XP before maybe going into, or hopefully jumping into his Zeroma's fight shortly afterwards.
and there's a shake on Amarith's side, so that's GG.
That is the crack bang boom, 100% going on here. So, there is a little bit of a thing going off here time-wise, so there's a couple of things that need to be mentioned. One, we do have a bit of a dropping of Amarith's seed, so what we are going to have to do is there is possibly going to be the retiming from the admins unless we set it as it stands, just to make sure everything was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Because again, we did get to see the finish on stream, but we do have some spots that we're missing. Additionally, because of that, we still get your GGs out in chat for Amarith's win. That was a very well run race. But we are going to get it officially retimed, but we do have the race bot time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 21 seconds. Again, GG's out in chat. 100% a fantastically run race by Amarith, and also by Softnum. The two of them did fantastically, and we're going to see if we can get Amarith in for an interview. But yeah, that was a seed that you look at and you this is one where it was back and forth, just a whole bunch of different shenanigans. Your front end was very loaded with problems and not a lot of power, and it was two specific chests that bailed you out, both on Troya Pathway proper. And the back end was, what are you going to do for your last objectives? Because we know where Football Gauntlet is, we know where the Rat Tail is after Softnum showed it to us, so it's where do you go in that aspect? It's, again, this is a seed that was as much game knowledge and execution as you could really get into for something with these flags. Tella is both a get-out-of-jail-free card and a problem if you have to go up ordeals.
And you know what was really interesting? Even though we had starting Tella and starting Darkness, we did not see D-Money grind on either side.
I know I am very happy for it. I know my restreamer is very happy for it, and I know that a lot of people in the community are very happy to see the alternate grinds. Again, there's nothing against demachining. It's me personally, I don't like demachining because it is long, it is very involved, and it is frustrating and it is just it's not fun. I'll say this. I'm never going to knock anybody who D machines, and in fact, I suggest it. I still see it being as one of the better grinds when you get to certain spots in your race. But as an overall, I look at D money and I just go, please no. But yeah, it's 100% a great way of getting experience when you need to slingshot people, when you want two people to get brought up like from when they're behind. It's so good. But other than that, there's different grinds in this game and different ways of getting your experience. It is just the easiest to manip into proper, and it is the easiest done with next to no real resources. All you need is some ethers and some life potions and some of the cast cure too. Or in some cases, we've seen it Rydia casting Sylph. Rydia being Sylph healer has been very nice with your healer and your DPS to knock down your dragons. But I do have a blip in the ear. That is Amarith. GG's.
Oh my god, GG, thank you. It was quite.
Did you like that one?
I'm sorry?
Did you like that seed?
Oh, I thought I was sunk when it came to getting past ordeals. I was, oh man, how am I gonna deal with this? It's Tella, I don't have equipment, where is all this? I'm so lucked out to start us from.
Yeah, so let's go into how you felt the first time you bounced off the Magus Sisters. You look and you've got Tella, and you see Magus Sisters, and you see how much those tier 2 spells are doing in that spot to his low HP. What's your thought process right there?
Pray. I was looking at it, I was like, there's got to be some way to like get inputs in faster than them, just knock the little one out first. There's got to be some like, because these little spells just aren't going to do it, and the game would obviously have to put some way to get past it. So,
did it ever cross your mind to go back to the lunar shop and get those vampires?
I had completely forgotten about the vampires, honestly.
You know what? With the way that seed was going out and the way you basically cleared everything you possibly could before that ordeals, I 100% understand. I've been in situations like that before. So let's get to that package check. What put you to... That was one of the bigger deciding factors in the early game would put you ahead. What was your big thought when it came to like doing that package check, period?
It was one of those things, because one of my teammates was actually doing a practice earlier today, and basically the same thing sort of came up. It was just like, Full Gauntlet was just nowhere to be found. So I was like, you know, I want to make sure that I'm checking all the bosses that I can. Package came up, I'm like, you know what? I'm in the area. I could use an Eddie replacement if like Cecil shows up or something. Like, and then I was like, well, maybe the boss is just, you know, Golbez or something. I'll look out and I look and I see the 3 blue robes walk in, and I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, this is probably the only thing that gives me an edge the entire race.
And I don't know if you've talked to Softnum yet, but it turns out that both got the Magma King got their ordeals roughly around the same time.
Seems like we're having just a little bit of audio from Amarith, audio issues. But in the interim, Softnum, as you see, took a very nasty wipe. Rosie got focused down, and the rest of the party kind of fell like dominoes after that. Get GG's out for Softnum. It looks like that is an FF sitting on the main screen. He ran this very well. Again, no shame in FFing. Be very proud of what happened in the seed, basically. So Amarith, you get underground. What's your plan of attack for taking care of what was your thought process seeing, okay, I got underground access, where am I going to go when I have still everything to go for?
A lot of it was just like getting the goal of like, okay, we gotta get up to 10 key items really quick. Let's start checking some shops, see if we get any equipment that's at least somewhat decent. Like, just start gearing people up, and usually first stop is the castle. And like, I was thinking like, oh, I'll hit tower and sirens while I'm there. Hopefully, I find pan and just run through Silk Cave, just like the usual that you do when you get underground. But getting the adamant out of the board glitch was pretty nice, and then getting all those Zeus gauntlets. Just be given one by Golbez when you're done.
All right, so again, seeing that Golbez in that Asura spot, what were you thinking? Again, what was your thought on that specific fight? Because that is one that, as we saw, is kind of free with a Star Veil.
I looked at it, I was like, I especially don't like the Kainaza there. The Golbez, I was like, if I can like get Kane to jump real quick in the beginning to save a demolished, and if I get at least Starveil off, I should be golden. And then I was just trying to get people up and get them, Starveiled, and so they can get EXP too. Like, also, sorry if I'm having some like weird issues. Like, I don't know if like my computer just needs reset. I know like my feed cut out a little bit where there's internet things going on this week. So
No, that's fine. Again, technical issues come as long as you have the recording. I know that might be asked for, but regardless, let's go back on to the thought process. The really big question that I have, that I know a lot of people, that I think a lot of people probably want to ask too, is: you have starting Tella, you have a starting Darkness Crystal. Why was there no D-money grind?
oh, that's easy. I don't know it.
Really? Very interesting.
I need to learn it. It's on the list. It's just one of those things that's like, I got so many fish in the pond, so many things that I'm trying to do right now. It's like the D grind is just like, I'll learn it eventually. But yeah, it's just one of those things that's like, I'm not good at that. Like, I sort of understand how it works, and I know that in this flag set it's a little bit different because like I was talking about like, my teammate again, Zeke, and it's like because like something you can't run, so you have to set up getting into the fight a little bit differently.
Yeah, again, it is something that takes a little bit of time to get into and takes some effort of learning. But again, always something nice to have in your back pocket. But the important thing is you ran that race very fantastically, and you should be very proud of how it went. Gurin, do you have any questions for Amarith?
No, I think you pretty much covered all the places I would have gone to anyway. So, yeah, GG. It was a very, it was a long race to get going, but once you got going, it was pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, getting the underground access at like an hour just felt really terrible. Just like there's no way that I'm not behind on this.
Again, GG's Amarith, and we're going to be glad to see you the next coming weeks for this part of the league.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually enjoying this flag set a little bit more than the last one. Last one was fun, but this one's a little bit more kind of like to my liking, I could say.
Again, that was Amarith, your first place winner. She came in with a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Get your GGs out for her in chat. And in just a moment, we are going to be joined by Softnum. And that ping in my ear says we do in fact have Softnum with us. GG's, my friend.
GG's and GG's Amarith. Yeah, it was good games.
So let's start off with, I know the question on everybody's mind. What did you do to prepare to stay up this late? No, the actual question is that those Magus sisters, I'm pretty sure that you and Amarith had a nice little chat about it in the post-game race. How did you, like, what was your thought after bouncing off the Magus sisters a couple of times?
Yeah, I mean, so on my other screen here, I have pulled up the weapon chart to see what I could do about this specific thing. Yeah, I know that Amarith ended up finding the Stardust Rod, and actually, I was going to go do that. That was actually the plan, was to go up, saw it, and find the Flame Dog chest and see if it held something I could use. But I decided to raid the petites and whatever you want to call it, the non-treasury, just on a lark, and I found the Stardust, and I'm like, well, that'll work.
So I'm actually going to say that's probably the descriptor of this entire seed, was the getting bailed out by the last place you would expect. You got bailed out by the Troya Treasury. Amarith, she got bailed out by the Flame Dog chest. She took the package, and that's where the gauntlet was. You, like, we were worried, like, oh, you're going to have to start face checking everywhere. We were talking like, oh, probably the best place for you to check would probably be, top of Babel, and you check there first and get bailed out by the rat tail up there. Like, this was probably just like, oh, I wonder if something's going to be here, and it was just exactly what was necessary to keep things interesting and keep things closer than you may have expected.
Yeah, actually, I did Keyless Tower because I wanted to have some sirens when I went back to Cape Bahamut, because I was going to take a couple more gold dragons for experience, because I still had a bunch of hourglasses. So I knew I had to go in there anyway and steal some, so I'm like, I'll just go up and see what's up there. So I was full well expecting to have to like try and get through some moon boss and either find the rat tail or find the gauntlet up there. So I am kind of kicking myself because I did. I'm trying to remember what I was doing in the seat at the time. Probably wandering through the Fey March and Sylph. I was like, I really should go do the package, but I was like, I'm not going to take a Cecil because I didn't have a Excalibur or a Crystal Sword. I did have the lightsaber, which I ended up throwing at Leviathan, I think. But yeah.
It turned out that the package was the dupe Kane in the seed, and he did have 2 defense swords.
I did indeed have 2 defense swords. I sold both of them, by the way, on accident, because I forgot he wasn't holding one. But yes, I did end up with 2 defense swords. I probably wouldn't have taken second Kane. I still think... I was actually surprised to see that Amarith hadn't ended up taking a Fu. But I guess if you've got a Cecil and that's your party, that makes sense.
As it turned out, the reason that Amarith didn't take the Fu is that was just before she got the crystal for go mode. So, I mean, she already wanted it.
Yeah, I was going to say, she went underground, got the Cecil long beforehand, whereas you kind of got the Fu and then did Dwarf Castle way after she did. So that was that whole... Again, it was interesting seeing you guys take the same essential route, but basically flipping where a lot of places were. For example, she did... you did the football defense early, she went somewhere else earlier, and it was just like you guys bounced around and kind of crisscrossed in each other. It's just the way some of them turned out with different power was just very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting. I'm sure we crisscrossed the first half hour of the seed a dozen times trying to figure out how, if Hook was gonna... I was expecting Hook to come somewhere else and have to do the Hook route anyway, but
it was shaping up. That was how it was going to have to be. Okay, so the big question I have, and I posed the same one to Amarith. You have starting Tella. You have Darkness Crystal. You have finished Ordeals. You now have Weak. We do not see a D money from you either. Why not?
I think King Rios is faster and easier. It's King Rios is really easy. As a grind, if you find both the hourglasses, and I was low on sirens. I can do it. I'm not as familiar with the no run one in front of Baron, so I would have had to have like gone and find the chart. But yeah, I didn't. I guess I didn't really think about it. I didn't want to go to the giant. The last seed I had ran was required giant, and so I really didn't want to go there.
My question, which is in the same vein of that ordeals, was when you're trying to find a way to get through those Maga Sisters, did it ever cross your mind to go back to the moon and buy the vampires?
No, I mean I probably would have gotten there eventually. I was I didn't know what I was gonna do if I didn't find like a Stardust or something that could cast something useful. I might have tried to outspeed with the lit bolt, which did actually work, but killed me too. So
Yeah, unfortunately, that one gets reflected, unlike the Stardust one.
yeah. So
All right. Any last second thoughts about the seed, or any comments you wish to give to our wonderful restreamer for the fantastic seed she rolled for you?
this is neither the worst nor the longest seed that I've run for MM. I think that a lot of them end up like this, but I can't, as a fellow corgi owner, I can't really like be mad at it. Sorry, but
I respect
anyway,
that.
GG's everybody. Thank you for doing the comms and the restream and the tracking. Especially I know the restreamers and the trackers, need lots of love. So thank you.
All right. Again, that was Softnum, second place finisher, but again, wonderful runner overall. Very, very well done. That is going to do it for us today. But fear not, tomorrow there is more for Enterprise fun. At 6 o'clock Eastern, we have Wreck-It from What's the Big Ordeals versus Mecha Link. It's Bacchus o'clock somewhere. That's going to be on a Khadgar link coming somewhere near you. And then we have Curios of New Moon versus Simbu of Blue Moon Dew. That is also going to be on a lovely Khadgar link provided ahead of time at 7 o'clock Eastern. And additionally at 7 o'clock Eastern, we have It's Spelled Aerith from Time Zoner Us versus Crispy Slick from Big Trouble in Little Kaipo. That is going to be on Free Enter Prime at 7 o'clock, so make sure you don't miss that tomorrow. And then John Burkhead of Brew Dude Attitude versus Dr. Cossack of Silvara Petting Zoo. That's going to be back here at 9 o'clock Eastern on Free Enter Prime 2. And you know what? Do you have anything last you want to say about tonight's race, though, there, Garen, before we send the lovely people off for the evening?
No, I mean, it was a very fun race to watch and commentate on. It was better that I wasn't running it, because I would have been freaking out, definitely, early into that seed. And, yeah, it was good working with you, Deathus.
And again, always a pleasure of working with you, Garen, as a fellow commentator. And again, wonderfully done by our restreamer and seed roller, Oscar424. And we have Scarcer, who's doing the tracking and keeping us honest here in the booth. Big shout outs and big loves to them, and give them all likes, follows, and make sure, because when they do stream it, they are fantastic, as well as my co-commentator, Garen. But my name has been Dathis. I've been here for your fine late evening Free Enterprise run. You all have yourselves a wonderful evening.